Once upon a time, there was a little boy called Howard who loved writing stories.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Young Howard wrote many stories and scripts.
Mr. Quackers was on his magic toilet.
But then one day he grew up and discovered alcohol and laziness, so he put his writing in the attic and forgot about it. 20 years later, Howard found his old stories and persuaded his lifelong friend Rufus to read them. Join Rufus and Howard as they embark on a mission to read everything he wrote, from the age of 5 until now, in The Worst Writer in the World.
Little Howard dreamed of being a writer, and so he sat and wrote every night. But everything he wrote was fucking shite, yeah. Wubba-dubba-doo, wubba-dubba-doo. Worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world. He's a stupid, suck-ass, rubbish writer.
Hello and welcome to The Worst Writer in the World with me, Rufus, and...
Me, Howard. Is that how we do the intros now? I think?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's sound a bit less excited about it. Hello everybody, welcome to The Rubbish Writer in the Rubbish World. I'm the rubbish one and he's the other rubbish
one. Would you like to put us in your bin? Should we go and live in your bin?
I mean, you're probably playing us on your phone, so just put your phone in your bin and it'll all be fine. All right, bye. That's the end of the episode. Bye, me. All right, now let's be better than that.
Okay.
Thank you to the British Comedy Guide for hosting us. Thanks to our lovely patrons on Patreon for patronising us. And thanks to you for listening to us.
Thanks.
Such enthusiasm. Now, this week we start an exciting news story, and when I say new, I mean not new.
Ooh.
Right? Because people may have noticed from the title that this is called The Candle of Ever, which is a Doctor Who story by very young Howard. How old were you when you wrote this one?
I wrote it yesterday because I still am very young Howard. Yes.
Now, I mean, that's true. But we worked out you wrote this in middle school, like probably around the age of 13 or something, I believe. And some people may be thinking that this is, I've heard this one before, because you released this one on Man by Cow podcast. And that is true. But excitingly, this new edit is about 3 times as long as the version on Man by Cow.
Ooh, what a big bargain.
Basically, all the bits we cut out on Man by Cow to try and fit it into one episode for a reason that we definitely had at the time that we can't remember now. Right, have been restored and put back in, and we've turned it into a Worst Writer episode with all the exciting plot so fars and links that we usually do for Worst Writer show, and it's much, much better. So there will be an enormous amount in this one that you've never heard, and that even includes quite a bit of stuff never even heard in the Secret Gang version. So that means not only have our listeners not heard it, but our patrons haven't heard some of it, and even Howard hasn't heard a lot of it. Because he may have been there at the time, but he wasn't really paying attention. And also, because we have a habit of occasionally discussing and getting distracted by obscure sketches that we've made or conversations that we've had, I've patched them in. So if we start talking about something weird, I've just put it in.
Brilliant.
So you might hear us begin talking about something, and then it'll flip over to that thing, so you're not confused. So hopefully this will be a bit of an exciting experience for us all.
I mean, I can hardly contain myself already. Too excited.
You look pretty excited, and you sound pretty excited, you know.
That's my excited voice. Oh!
It's also your I'm having a shit at the moment voice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so as I said, this is a Doctor Who story. It's also, I believe, the second thing that we ever recorded like this. After Ginger Bee Sting, we did this. So the recording is from quite a while ago, but the writing, as ever, is by young genius child Howard, you know, before he lost all his abilities.
Ah, fuck you.
What's the title of the story?
It's called The Candle of Ever.
The Candle of Ever.
Yeah.
Here's a
There's
picture.
a lot of pictures come with it.
The Dalek invasion of Balam. Which is surprising. Balam is apparently not a suburb of London, and it looks like an island.
Balham.
Yeah. And
I am invading Balham. I am a Dalek. You're not a Dalek, Tom Baker, Doctor, are you? You're getting confused.
He wants to play all the parts.
He does.
Anyway, there's a picture of a Dalek, and there's a map of Balham. And I think that's the TARDIS because it's pink.
Oh, really?
Pink
What's
TARDIS.
going on?
I think we've found page 1.
Okay.
Anyway, on page 1, it's got a printing history, which is surprising that for something that seems to have been typed on a typewriter. The paperback division of W.H. Allen and Co. Limited.
Yeah, they make the actual Doctor Who books.
Oh, right. So you're just getting this ready for when they publish it, so they don't have to do it.
I think if I did that and I sent it to them, that they would assume that it belonged to them and they'd publish
that they'd
it.
already published it and they'd just publish it again. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably quite clever, yeah. Did you send it to anyone?
Oh, no, it was for school.
Oh, right. For school. They asked you... What kind of school did you go to where you had to write Doctor Who books? Did you go to Doctor Who school?
I went to the Gallifrey High School.
Okay.
I went to Castle Rock,
Yeah,
you
we
were
went to
there.
the same school. I didn't do
You were in
this.
a different... Yeah, but you weren't in Mr. Khan's class.
No, I was in Mr. Bailey's class.
Were you?
Yeah.
I like Mr. Bailey.
He was nice. He was
Well, I
good.
like
He was
Mr.
my
Khan
favourite
as well.
teacher, actually.
Mr. Khan was great, but like if he didn't like people, he was quite cruel.
Yeah,
he didn't
Mr.
like Robert Woodward.
Didn't he?
Poor, fat, stupid Robert.
He said that.
Yeah, he would say about him. Yeah, when he got annoyed with
He
him.
called him poor, fat and stupid.
Yeah, he was poor, fat, and stupid.
Yeah, but that's still no excuse for a teacher to say it. And I'd say,
He's
if
not
I'm
insulting
going
him.
to
He's
say,
just quoting facts.
no, I'm going to
What's
say,
wrong with
if
that?
there's 3 things,
Yeah.
like if you were going to make a list of things a teacher shouldn't call a student,
Yeah.
I'd say poor, fat and stupid are probably top 3. Do you know what I mean? Because like social division, poor, problems with body image in the future, fat, and no chance of an education from a teacher who calls you stupid.
Yeah. He only did it if he got suitably irritated by Robert for like messing around and not
Even
paying
so,
attention and stuff. And
I think
being
teachers,
fat and,
yeah, not losing
not
weight.
having any money.
Yeah, coming from a poor family.
You come in here without your money.
No, it was Colville. No one had any money.
Yeah, but
It was
some
a
people,
commu-
some people had less than no money.
Yeah, some people had no money and some people had minus money. Okay, anyway, getting back to the printing history.
Oh God.
Anyway,
I think it's going to be a long
it's
long night.
address first published in Thailand.
Wow, interesting. The Thailand division of W.H. Allen. They didn't know they had one, they do.
Photo typeset by Sunrise Setting Torquay Devon. Printed on Scaro by Davros Dalek Printing. Tower B12 The Forest. You were always funny, weren't you?
Yeah.
And I mean strange.
I've not got good hopes.
Well, I mean, I did have until I turned to the first page where I find a poem. And it's for Terry Nation.
Oh, that's nice.
You wrote a poem to Terry Nation.
That's very good of me. He was probably still alive then.
You were a massive loser, weren't you?
Yeah. It's a poem. I'm good at poetry.
Yeah, well, let's find out. For Terry Nation, who without the Daleks would not have been created, I then should have had to use the Cybermen.
Yeah.
Roses are red, you stick things with glue.
Good.
Cybermen are silver, and Zygons aren't blue.
They aren't.
Oh, I can't believe you've written a comedy poem about Doctor Who when you were 10. Roses are red, pink, white, or a mixture of those. Violets are violet. Daleks are dangerous, but please do not fret.
What?
That's the next verse.
What's that going to rhyme with?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, never mind.
No.
Oh, violet.
Yeah,
Violet.
violets are violet.
Do it right.
Sorry, roses are red, pink, white, or a mixture of those. Violets are violet. Daleks are dangerous, but please do not fret. Is that okay? Is that
yeah.
better?
That's much better.
Saliva is indescribable.
What?
Saliva is... That's what it says.
I suppose.
Saliva is indescribable.
Okay.
Your bogies are green.
Okay, they are.
Have you seen the TARDIS? It's one hell of a machine.
Oh, it is. Oh, I should have. This is like if Russell T Davies had seen my love of the TARDIS.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have bothered bringing Doctor Who back.
No, he would want me to write for the show. He'd be like, this guy like really likes it.
Well, thank goodness.
Unnecessarily so.
Thank goodness he's not in control anymore. Daleks are nasty.
Yeah.
Daleks are nasty. Cybermen are too. Autons are plastic. Zygons still are not blue.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. They're not.
Ice warriors are ugly.
Yeah.
Ogrons are too. Is that how I pronounce Ogrons?
Ogrons.
Ogrons, okay. Sorry, listener, I have to admit I'm not as much of a Doctor Who fan as Howard is. Ice warriors are ugly. Ice warriors are ugly. Ogrons are too. The Master has a beard, but he's not blue. Open brackets, either close brackets.
Okay. So
You're really putting a lot of emphasis on this blue thing.
maybe this not being blue thing connects back to the picture of the TARDIS that isn't blue, the pink and yellow TARDIS.
Yeah.
Maybe
Not being blue is a major theme in your story.
perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm colourblind and can't see blue, so
Maybe.
I'm quite specific about that.
You think nothing is blue because you don't know what blue
yeah,
is.
I've never seen it.
Um,
It's that
yeah.
green colour there, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I must admit it, someone was right. You. I must admit it, someone was right. You. If you get the correct paint, Zygons can be blue.
You can paint a Zygon blue, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I mean, you can paint anything blue.
Okay,
I
well, that's the poem.
don't really understand that poem.
All right, so contents page. Page 1, prologue. Page 2, the shadowed visage.
Oh,
Page 3, enter the Doctor.
Oh.
That's the way it gets rude. Page 5, arrival on
piss on
Skaro.
the Doctor
Yeah. Page 5, go upstairs and wank in readiness.
for the Doctor.
Yeah. Page 6, enter the Doctor. Page 7,
Take the
piss on
lollipop out of the Doctor.
Yeah. Page 6, destruction on Skaro. So we've got the shadowed visage,
Yeah, good.
enter the Doctor, arrival on Skaro, destruction on Skaro.
Scarrow. Sean Connery's reading this.
Yeah.
Destruction on Scarrow.
Illustrations. Page A.
Yay!
You've
Hooray
never-
for me!
Never really worked this out, have you? Like, pages don't work in this way. It's true. You've got page A, page 2, page 3, page C. See, this doesn't put things in order. Now no one knows how to find anything. I must turn to find out what the illustration of a squat Dalek looks like. I'll just turn to page C. I wonder where that is.
What the fuck
I have
is that?
no idea. I just have to flick through.
Good.
All right, so there's here's a map of, what was it?
I don't know. Some
Meterax world map.
Irrelevant.
In the Isles of Ever,
Yeah.
there's a place called Friendshire.
That's nice.
Friendshire, where you go.
I bet Care Bears come from there.
Yeah.
Is there an enemy shear?
I'm not seeing one.
Enemyville.
There's only two places in the Isles of Ever.
Yeah.
Friendshire and Healthsorks. All right, Howard, it's time to start reading The Candle of Ever by wonderful young Howard Long.
Hooroo!
You sound very excited.
I am.
Did you know that this story has a prologue?
I did, but it was lost. It was lost.
It was. For many years it was lost, but then we found it, written in one of your school exercise books, because what is here is essentially the first draft of The Candle of Ever, which I'd like to tell you is exactly the same. I say first draft, but really what you did was you wrote it in pen and then you typed it up. That's
Yes.
something you do as a kid, isn't it? I typed it up, I didn't change anything.
I mean, I needed to do that kind of thing because my handwriting is illegible.
Well, I mean, looking at this, it's not nearly as bad as it often has been. I think this is after remedial handwriting class. Yeah, because I can read it,
Yeah.
but also it is in pen. Which, like, for example, the Revenge of the Living Dead Went the Wrong Way, Humanoid Mole People was all in pencil, and that made it more difficult because it's kind of faded. But this is in lovely blue biro.
Brilliant.
So here we go. Doctor Who, The Candle of Ever. Prologue. Far out in the remote blackness of the Gosling Nebula lies a small red I feel this something quite familiar about the form of this prologue. I feel like you're taking inspiration from somewhere. Do you feel that?
No, I think-
yeah, Doctor Who.
Wholly original, and if anything else is like it, clearly they've copied me.
Anyway, so far out in the remote blackness of the Gosling Nebula lies a small, unregarded, no, it doesn't say that, red planet.
Yeah, it doesn't because it's completely different. That's why it doesn't say that.
It is. It's left out all the good words.
Well, I
All
couldn't
the
use
words that
them.
make that sentence memorable.
I had to replace them with ones that weren't used in that. So I was like, once upon a time, space. Warrior Planet. Coloured red.
That's so much better than this. Once upon a time, Up Space Warrior Planet coloured red. It's such a good opening. And I tell you what, the real tragedy of that, the real injustice of that, is if you had written that, Mr. Cotton would have corrected you. He'd have said, what's this rubbish? Because people in Coville were such snobs, such poor snobs. Everyone was poor, right?
Yeah.
But because there were two levels of poor, there were all those super poor snobs, right? And he was one of them.
Yeah.
He would have told you off for that amazing sentence. Should probably mention for people who don't know that the source that I'm alluding to is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
And if you don't know that source, then do stop listening to this immediately and go and read that instead.
Yeah,
What
or
do you-
listen to it. Absolutely. Which begins with a prologue whose wording is somewhat reminiscent of this.
Yeah, somewhere up space.
So, far out in the remote blackness of the Gosling Nebula lies a red planet, which, by the natives of the planet, goes by the name of Meteorax. Okay. That was quite a sentence. It started out quite understandable, but then it just went off. The planet Meteorax supports a race of carbon-based humanoids. The planet Meteorax supports a race of carbon-based humanoids, and the atmosphere is very much like our own. And that's good in case any humanoids want to go there, for example, in a TARDIS.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. Meteorax is famed for, or rather isn't famed for. You always do that. Real English gentleman, but not really.
Yes, good.
It's so common, especially at the beginning of things of yours we read that you like, it's like this. Of course, it's not like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Meteorax is famed, and the way it's written is, Meteorax is famed for ... or rather, isn't famed for its museum. Such a weird sentence. It's so good. That's so good. It's famed for, or rather, isn't. That's not how you use or rather. That's a real just to say the exact opposite.
It is how
of
I
what
use
you've
or
just
rather.
said.
That's exactly how I use it.
Yeah, sorry. My sentence was demonstrably untrue there, where I said that's not how you use it.
Once upon a time, there were a man. Or rather, there wasn't a man.
So Meteorax is famed for, or rather isn't famed for, its museum, which is filled with curios from all over the universe, including the harp of Heradicus,
Ooh.
which is supposed to have set the universe rolling. So the universe was fine, and then Herodicus turned up with his harp and
Stuck some wheels on it.
rolled away.
I like what you've done with this universe, but there's one thing missing. You could use wheels. Oh no, the universe is getting away. Why did we leave it on the top of that hill?
Well, it didn't have wheels. Like, you can put a house on the top of a hill, can't you? As long as Herodicus doesn't turn up and put wheels on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I like this universe. It's a nice universe, but I'd like to be able to drive it on holiday, to drive it to the seaside and park it in a campsite or whatever.
It's me, Radicles. Would you like wheels with that? Burger, is it, sir? Would you like wheels with that?
Oh, I see you have a dog. Would you like me to put wheels on it? I could use my harp. Yeah. That's what it does, you know.
And that's if you ever see a dog with wheels, now you know why.
So, anyway, his harp is said to have set the universe rolling. Of course.
It didn't.
This is not true. Why?
Yeah, that's not my story. You know, it's famed for that. Well, it's not. Well, of course, it's not.
Okay,
it's not.
yeah.
It's not famed for it because no one's heard of it. But I mean,
No. Of course, this is not true, and also the museum doesn't have that harp, and it doesn't exist, and it's called something else.
yeah. Good.
Of course, this is not true at all, and neither is it true that the flute of Theracles can charm the pants off a Dalek.
Is that because Daleks don't have pants?
But there you go.
Oh, but there you go.
Yeah, that's the end of that joke.
Okay.
But there you go.
There you go.
Your line, because Daleks don't have pants, probably would have been better.
Well, unless like Davros, installed pants on all of them when he first made them, but Theracles is like already charmed the pants off them.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Where have the pants on all my Daleks gone?
I'm
They're
sorry.
rolling around naked.
I'm sorry,
Wait a minute.
Davros.
Why have they got wheels on? I didn't put wheels on these Daleks. They'll be able to get all over the place and murder everyone
Oh,
now.
shit, yeah.
They were supposed to be statues. Heradicus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been putting wheels on my Daleks?
Yeah.
I'm afraid I have. Theracles. Yeah. have you been charming the pants off my Daleks? Yeah.
You should not have done that. Inside their pants was a ray gun instead of a penis.
Yeah.
You've got their ray gun out.
Yeah, Davros wasn't a bad guy. He just didn't think things through.
Yeah.
It's like these pants will keep everyone safe.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just going to leave my Dalek with Theracles and Heradicus. I'm sure they'll be fine. As long as they don't get wheels and lose their pants. But how would they? Of course, it is true. I'm a bit suspicious about what's coming up now, I'll tell you that. Of course, it is true that a certain candle, hidden beneath the museum could, if extinguished, be the destruction of the universe.
But of course, that's not true.
Yeah. And also, the universe will be okay as long as it drives away quickly enough.
Yeah.
It could be the destruction of the universe, but then again...
Probably not.
But then again, that's not true.
Yeah.
But then again, the only people who know about it being there are the two night watchmen of the museum. So, I mean, they're probably paid really well and would never, certainly incorruptible night watchmen of a museum. And the owner. So we're safe.
So,
The only people who know are two night watchmen. Why don't the day watchmen know? Why is it only the night guys?
Yeah.
Don't tell the day guys. They can't be trusted.
no.
And even if anyone did track it down and tried to
Extinguish.
no, well, no. The best thing, the thing I'm laughing at is it says and tried to put it out, but it does say that, but you've crossed out EXTIN. Like you started writing extinguish and then just went nope, not going there. So put it out.
Yeah.
Even if anyone did track it down and tried to put it out, they would not succeed, as the only way to do this is to take the candle to Gallifrey and drop it into the pool of Rassilon, which would release chaos beasts who would wreak havoc over the universe, and the candle would have to renounce its title, the Candle of Ever. Well, I tell you what, I am glad we found and restored that prologue because I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, there was some classic stuff in there.
It was classic Howard. This is a thing. Of course, it's not a thing. It really did feel very familiar. But now, let's return to the original recording of Candle of Ever, which, just in case we say anything that confuses people, is being recorded by two people who have not read that prologue that we just read. All right?
yeah.
We are here in the future reading this, and they are there in the past
Not reading it.
thinking it's been lost forever.
Yeah.
So let's do that, shall we?
Yes, let's.
Chapteria 1.
Good start.
Chapteria 1. The Shadowed Visage. Ted closed the trapdoor in the museum floor and covered it with a shag pile rug. Just a shag pile rug. Just one he happened to have with him. The only glint of light in the room radiated from the glow in the dark... What? From the glow in the dark night watchman bags. which
Yeah.
was pinned to Ted's cap.
The only glint was a glow.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Okay, so the darkness was broken. So Ted fixed it.
By putting a bulb in. Good.
No, the darkness was broken. As Ted clicked on his torch, he flashed the white beam of light along a great line of paintings and once grand statues, then headed on towards the exit. As he went to open the door, a slight rush of wind swept across his face, and he heard a quiet wheezing sound.
So someone farted on him, basically.
Ted span around and quickly flashed his torch over the room again. The torch finally rested on a pair of statues.
It's a
Now,
split torch.
statues don't usually come in pairs, do they? Shoes
Torches
and socks.
don't normally point at two things at once. This is
True.
space. This is space magic.
Space torch. Finally rested on a pair of statues. They were Adepticus Titanicus. And Ted was truly amazed. It was true, two existed, but they only had one. It was a miracle.
Oh, right.
Now the museum could become really big, and he would be rich. What? He's the night watchman, right?
Yeah.
Does his wages go up when the museum get better?
He took shares. He took
Okay,
shares.
that's
He's
cool.
been there a long time. So
Maybe he owns the place. He just, he's a real down-to-earth
then
guy.
it would say he's the owner, wouldn't it?
You'd think so.
Ted, the owner of the museum, who also worked as a night watchman at his own museum.
Well, it hasn't actually said what he is. It said he's wearing a night watchman's cap.
That
But
would-
it
he's
doesn't
not-
say...
But he's not wearing an owner's cap.
No,
so
no,
that
but
would
maybe
suggest...
he couldn't find his own cap and he borrowed the night watchman.
Maybe.
I'm just looking for meaning. All right, so the museum could become. He's
let's-
so he's shone his
can I-
torch on a second statue that wasn't there before, and his
Yes.
immediate reaction is, "Fucking hell, I'm going to be rich." He's clearly not that clever.
Yeah.
He unlatched a mini CB from his jacket lapel.
People in Doctor Who never are clever. When weird
true.
shit happens, they just kind of like react in a way that's not really been thought out very well by a 10-year-old.
Yeah, this is true. It's very true to form. He unlatched a mini CB from his jacket lapel.
What's that? What's a CB?
That's what they used to call radios, isn't it? Like when you. What's CB stand for? Beretta.
Carburettor.
Okay. So he unlatched a mini carburettor from his jacket lapel. It's all a bit weird now. He pressed a tiny red button on its side and spoke into its speaker. Dave, do you copy?
You should have spoken to its listener, shouldn't you, really?
Yeah. Dave, do you copy?
Good Doctor Who space names, Ted and Dave.
Ted and Dave. I don't think we're in space yet. I think that's the trouble.
Oh, are we not? But he's in a space
Ted
museum.
Edicus. Is he? I think, isn't it just a regular museum?
I doubt it. Isn't it set on someone called Baladon or something? What was that?
That's just a map. I've no idea what that
It's
is.
set on Meteorax.
It hasn't said where it is yet. It's just he's a night watchman and he's pointing his torch at statues that weren't there before.
Okay.
Well, if it's another planet, then maybe night watchmen's wages are linked to the takings of a museum.
And they have two-pronged torches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's space museum, isn't it? Anything could happen. Dave, do you copy? Sure do, old guy. Get down here quickly. There's something you've just got to see, and you're truly going to love it. What is it? Asked Dave.
Hold on a second.
What, I'm
Is Gret Benchley playing Dave?
Yeah, Greta's going to play Dave. What is it? Asked Dave in an enthusiastic manner. Now that's a good sentence. What is it? Asked Dave in an enthusiastic manner.
So he didn't mean it. He's just putting it on.
Yeah. Come and find out, exclaimed Ted. He reclipped his CB and brushed back his long grey hair, then wiped the sweat from his wrinkled brow. His old, worn face was glowing intensely. All right, so that's weird. Now the only source of light. There's actually three now, because we've got his night watchman's badge on his cap, his two-pronged torch, and his glowing head. So that's three sources of light. That's good.
Yeah.
It's not so dark now. Sorry, his intensely glowing
His name
head.
is Ted. He's got a glowing head. Good, yeah.
So an intensely glowing head. Get it right. He strode.
Intense. It's just like, it's going to explode,
Yeah,
isn't it?
glowing intensely is frightening, isn't it? Not many things glow intensely. You run away from things that glow intensely. Okay, so blah blah blah. Blah 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 glowing head.
Yeah.
He strode confidently up to the twin statue
and patted it on the head. What? Which head?
It's,
Twins-
it's a glowing one.
All right. And a very surprising thing happened.
Oh.
The front of the statue clicked open. Wow, breathed Ted. He was amazed. I think we got that from the wow. I'm amazed, said Ted. He was amazed. And took a peek inside, flashing his torch around.
You took a what inside?
A peek.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not gone ginger bee sting yet.
Okay.
The torchlight flickered across a hexagonal wall with circular depressions at regular intervals. These glowed dimly. Finally, the beam from the torch picked out a hexagonal console, which was all very amazing.
Ah, yes.
Thanks for the commentary there, young Howard.
You've got to know that it's amazing, otherwise you just think it's boring.
Yeah, which was all very dull. So Ted went home. Which was all very amazing. But the most fantastic thing was that the statue was bigger on the inside than on the out.
Wow.
Open brackets. Dimensionally transcendental was the proper name for it. Close brackets. Of course, thought Ted. It's all done with mirrors. And he stepped into the six-sided room.
Right, so Ted found an unexpected twin statue in his museum, right? The night watchman walking around, he's like, we've got one of these statues, suddenly we've got two.
Wow.
I'm going to be rich.
Yes.
His first reaction was, I'm going to be rich. And his second reaction was to get in it. He's like, wow, it's got a door, I'll get in. And then we cut to a new scene. All right, so here we go.
Dave was in the common room. The only furniture was an oak coffee table which stood in the centre of the room, and a green settee with thin yellow lines, important information, which leant scruffily against the eastern wall.
It's because the Eastern Wall's are very appropriately important as well, I should imagine.
Yeah.
It's because when I was writing when I was young, I thought you had to describe things,
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
and now I don't believe you do.
No, now you described nothing.
Yeah. No, it's just like, let's get on with the wanking.
Yeah, just don't explain why.
Yeah.
He went upstairs and wanked for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
For no reason.
He went to a room, he wanked.
He wanked for 5 minutes and then his girlfriend turned up and he pissed on him. The end. Anyway, so leant scruffily against the eastern wall, supported by 3 very gnawed legs, a pile of biology books, and the wall itself. He was sat on this settee, pulling a pair of oversized red boots onto his feet. He was in his mid-20s, with thick black hair and a big bushy moustache. He wore a well-fitting night watchman's outfit in a bright red colour, which clashed violently with the settee. He began to tie his laces.
Wow.
That was a whole cutaway paragraph. Now we've got another space, and we go with a black leather boot kicked a small doll-like figure from its path. The doll slid across the room and rested, face upwards in one corner. It had the face and clothing of Ted. Ted's body tissue had been shrunken until his internal organs had been crushed badly and forced to shrink also. To put it plainly, he was dead.
Okay. And small.
Yeah.
Put it plainly, he was dead and small.
Yeah, you forgot to mention the small part. The black boot matched with a black pair of trousers, a black waistcoat, shirt, and a black cloak and hood. The man was wearing black.
Does it match with a black face? Is he?
What we're saying is it was a black man wearing black.
Yeah.
Basically, his clothes match, is
Okay.
what this sentence is telling us. The hood in question belonged to the murderer and covered their face with shadows.
The murderer, indeed. It's a
Murderer,
rubbish Time Lord name.
Yeah. The black-clad figure moved swiftly over to the rug which covered the trapdoor. He pulled the rug away and heaved open the square wooden door by an iron rung that was attached to it. Complete blackness filled the corridors below, and the figure felt for some type of ladder. He found a ladder made of jelly, a jelly type of ladder. Oh, that's not good enough, he thought. So he looked for a particular type of ladder made of wood.
Yeah, and he really felt for that ladder.
Yeah.
You can really understand the way.
Yeah,
the
whilst
way
trying
he's
to
feeling.
support the weight of someone who was getting on the roof, he really felt for ladders. Yeah, so, and the figure felt for some type of ladder. His fingers came across a half metal, half wooden structure.
You get a ladder?
I'm thinking maybe. I mean, a lot of things are made out of wood and metal, though, right?
But yeah.
But I'm thinking in this context,
Yeah.
when he's
Looking-
he's standing over a trapdoor looking for a ladder, and he's found. It doesn't say what shape it is.
Ladder.
He-
He felt a
His
ladder-shaped
fingers-
ladder.
I mean, his fingers came across a half metal, half wooden structure that was spherical. Probably not a ladder,
No.
you know. But if it was ladder shaped,
Yeah, ladder-shaped ladder made of wood and metal.
and he climbed onto it and began to descend until he was totally engulfed in darkness. I'm thinking it was a ladder.
He should have brought the Night Watchman's head with him.
Yeah, he's shrunk as well. So he's made the night
He's made
watchman
it into
a
a
torch. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
And he didn't even bother to bring it with him.
What
the
an idiot.
Right, so we're back to Dave with the next bit. So we're probably going to hear a lot of description
Yeah.
of what he's wearing and this furniture.
How tight his shoelaces are.
Yeah. Dave was strolling down a brightly lit corridor.
That's makes a change in this building.
Yeah, well, he's probably got Ted with him, or maybe all the night watchmen have intensely glowing heads. So everything is brightly lit where they go. Dave was strolling down a brightly lit corridor. He's sipping at a steaming hot cup of coffee. He's sipping. He's sipping at a steaming hot cup of coffee. The museum opened out into a modern art section, which was filled photographs. You've started to forget words at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I probably got bored of writing it by
Yeah.
now. Just get to the end.
Which was filled photographs and obscure statues, etc.
Oh, God.
It's always good to have etc. in a story. And you'll also notice that after etc. you've got 5 dots.
That's an
So
unnecessary amount of dots.
yeah, it's not the first time. We've had a few 5 dots. After
Really?
Truly Amazed, Ted Was Truly Amazed had 5 dots as well. And
3 is the correct number of dots.
yeah,
really,
yeah,
isn't it?
but
Except
they
if
only
you're
had
putting
one
it-
as 4.
If you put etc., you would put a dot at the end of it and then put
Yeah.
3 dots.
And also, you would never use etc. in a story.
No, you wouldn't. It's just like, well, at least I've given up to describing things. Oh, this is a good step forward.
That's
I think,
true,
because I
actually,
don't
yeah.
want to hear any more description.
For this story, we need more etc.
Yeah. Then he went to space, etc. Fought the bad guy, etc. Won, etc. The end, etc.
Yeah, good one. All right, so thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Anyway, obscure statues, etc. Dave stopped briefly to admire a framed photograph of a nude humanoid lady
Hey!
entitled Ginger Beastie. No, sorry, entitled Lola. Then dropped an empty plastic cup into a litter bin.
I think that's a euphemism.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. Then dropped an empty paper cup into a litter bin, zipped up, and continued on his way. No, it just says, and continued on his way.
Yeah.
Passing some unrecognisable triangular and square statues.
Unrecognisable. You recognise them as square and triangular statues, right?
Sorry, I'll read it again. Passing some recognisable triangular and square statues.
Yeah.
And on to more interesting and time-taken works of art. I tell you, one thing you can't tell from me reading this is how often you put things in inverted commas. It's almost like you're embarrassed about the vocabulary you're using a lot of the time, and so you're putting it in inverted commas. Like doll-like is just an adjective, but you're putting it in inverted commas. Time taken, because that's not a word. Modern art.
Modern art.
That's in
that
inverted
definitely
commas, yeah.
belongs in parentheses, doesn't it?
Not parentheses, it's
Sorry,
quotation marks or whatever.
Bunny
like.
ears, yeah, bunny ears, sorry.
Hooded head. In the next paragraph, we're about to start, the all black figure's hooded head popped out. And
Of what?
hooded head is in inverted commas for some reason. That's really odd. Anyway, I'm jumping ahead.
Well, it's his hooded head. It's not his regular head.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
His regular head stays put. It's just his hooded head that pops out.
yeah, no, that is the next line. Sorry.
Maybe his hooded head is another euphemism, because if you get your hooded head out, because unless you're
uncircumcised penis.
circumcised, yeah, that is your hooded head. It pops out. This is Ginger Beastie.
Okay, so-
maybe it really is. This is porn, and I've just
Maybe, well, that's when you're
Just
going to find out
disguised
later,
it,
yeah.
yeah.
The all black figure's uncircumcised penis popped out the open space of the trapdoor. It looked around,
yeah.
and then the whole body clambered out. That's weird. But I mean, it's alien physiognomy, isn't it? So you've got... Like they can move in this weird way where they get their cock out of their zipper, and then the rest of their body can get out through the zipper as well.
It's a reconnaissance penis. He sends it ahead.
All right, so then the whole body clambered out. Now the figure had an extra addition.
What?
I've no idea what that means.
What?
Now the figure had an extra addition, which was held in his left hand.
No.
Now the figure had an extra edition which was held in his left hand. I don't know what is going on. Yeah, I think he's getting himself ready for Ginger to arrive in 5 minutes.
He's unzipped. He's got his cock out. He's holding it in his left hand.
And oh, hang on, here we go.
What?
Now the figure had an extra edition which was held in his left hand, and that extra edition
Yeah.
happened to be the Candle of Ever. The Candle of Ever. That's it. It's just the name for his penis. The Candle of Ever.
That could be like your nickname for your penis, couldn't it? Just like-
Absolutely.
it's the thing that continues life, so it allows life to perpetuate.
and I think
hence
he's
the
showing
candle
off
of
and
ever,
saying,
yeah.
"Hey, baby, do you want to have a go on my Candle of Ever?"
The thing about candles is once they've been used, is they have that kind of like that drips down the
They
sides.
get smaller.
They do.
Once they've been used, they get smaller.
They do get smaller.
And they have drips down the side.
They've got drips down the side, so
And
it sounds like
eventually they go
he's
out.
recently used his candle of
Yeah.
ever.
Right, so Ted, you remember Ted, right, the Night Watchman? He got shrunk to death
Oh.
by a Time Lord called the Murderer, apparently. Then afterwards, the Murderer crept around
Yeah.
with the Candle of Ever.
Right. He's got it, has he?
Yeah, he's got it. So let's find out what happens next.
Okay, so chapter 2. Enter the Doctor.
Brilliant.
He's got his cock out. He's got his Candle of Ever out.
Yeah.
Now he's ready to enter the Doctor.
He's dripping wax in readiness.
Yeah. Dave. Oh.
What?
Dave had finally arrived. Okay. He was on his way somewhere, I suppose.
No, he's arrived. He's climax, hasn't he?
Okay. He opened the door and entered the lightless room. You're obsessed with how much light there is. That's all you... Basically, you're obsessed with sofa upholstery and light.
Yeah.
That's it.
I like the idea that I'm not going to use the word dark here, right? We're going to go with lightless, because dark's a bit boring.
He felt for the light switch.
I can really sympathise with this light switch getting poked all the time by fingers.
Yeah. He felt for the light switch and pressed it. He felt for the light switch and pressed it.
Okay.
The room was immediately illuminated, and Dave thought, yeah, that's how light switches work. Thanks for the description there. The room was immediately illuminated,
Good.
and Dave thought he felt a slight gust of wind across his cheek.
Oh, no.
Across his cheek, not his cheek, not his cheek. Across his cheek, and heard a quiet type of whistling.
What?
A quiet type of whistling.
There's someone trumping again in his face. It's just that there's the phantom raspberry blower of London town is on the loose.
But there was nothing out of the ordinary in the room as he scanned it.
with,
Yeah, with his flatbed scanner,
With his barcode scanner, yeah. That'll be £2, please.
and just passed it away as his imagination.
What the feeling of wind?
Yeah,
I imagine that wind on my face.
and the whistling.
Yeah, and the whistling.
It was then he noticed something in the southern corner of the room. He got his compass out first to check. Oh, look, there's something in the... Hang on. Southern corner of the room.
There might be a reason for this, because the sofa was on the eastern wall.
Yeah.
This is in the southern corner.
Maybe.
So,
Or it might just be that you don't really understand description.
No, because if you think about it, we've mentioned wind, and we've
Yeah.
had south, and we've had wind blows in directions, doesn't
That's
it?
true, yeah. And we've had people, they walk in directions.
They
as well,
do
haven't
that, and they break wind.
Yeah. All right, so where were we? The southern corner of the room.
Oh, yeah.
At first, it just looked like somebody's coat or jumper. But as Dave got nearer, he noticed it had legs. And arms.
And he thought to himself, coats and jumpers don't have legs.
Yeah, but it was as he noticed it had legs and arms.
Okay, yeah.
And coats and jumpers do
have
have
arms,
arms. So
yeah.
really it should be, he noticed it had legs.
So now he's concluding maybe it's a jumpsuit or something.
No,
and
he's
a
concluding
onesie.
it was a doll.
Oh,
That's what he concludes, exclamation mark.
I don't see how you can mistake a doll as a jumper or a coat. I mean, they're not that similar, are they?
It's a long way away in the dark. It is a dark room. It's
No, it's
he's
illuminated.
supposed to light only.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's an idiot.
Okay.
How did that get in here? He asked himself, and he stooped to pick it up. He was very surprised to see it look just like Ted. A voodoo doll, perhaps, he thought to himself. Then he noticed a pool of red liquid where the doll had been lying, and the same red liquid was slowly dripping from the doll's ears. Dave froze. A sudden recognition of sheer terror fell over him. That's a weird sentence, isn't it? A sudden recognition of sheer terror. Look at that! I recognise that. It's sheer terror. What's it doing here? It was Ted. Actually, no, that's in speech marks. It was Ted. That's a weird thing to say. It is Ted. Wouldn't seem more logical. But he's joining in with the past tense of the narrative.
Maybe
A
he's a
sudden
narrator.
recognition of sheer terror fell over him. It was Ted, he said illogically.
But it's not any fucking more. It's not Ted now.
Yeah, it's a doll. Somehow, some form of life. Maybe from beyond the stars, he thought. Some totally twisted and evil race had struck. A grim silence had filled the showroom, and Dave had rushed off to contact the Inquisitors. A more warm and friendly hexagonal control console sat in a brightly lit, white glowing hexagonal room, which, surprisingly enough, also had roundels indented into its walls.
Ah.
Why is that surprising? Roundels! What a surprise! I wasn't expecting roundels.
I suppose it's because, they'd not seen any roundels
What is
ever
a roundel?
before.
Why,
But now all
why
of
do
a
they
sudden-
have a name? Roundels.
Someone had to name them at some point in
just-
order that everyone know what they were talking about, so they gave them a name. And
Okay.
they called them roundels.
But what, do they do anything?
Well, sometimes they've got electrical wiring behind them. But in the brilliant EastEnders special edition of Doctor Who,
Yeah.
the Rani's got like a cyber head behind one, and
So they're cupboards, basically.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Okay. They're just Time Lord cupboards.
It's just the wall,
Yeah, with cupboards.
but
in
you
it.
can open bits of the wall, and whatever's behind that bit of the wall, if it's the water pipes, that's there, or there's some wiring, or there's a Cyberman. I guess everyone keeps a Cyberman in the TARDIS
Yeah.
just in case.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
proven by Matt Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. The centre of the console, which was surrounded by a myriad of multicoloured buttons, was rising and falling in a slow rhythm, which meant that this machine was in flight, for it was a time and space machine on its way to Blackpool,
Oh,
on the planet Earth. The exterior of the machine was very deceiving. It was in the guise of a police box in inverted commas, from 20th century Earth, and it was a lot smaller looking from the outside, which billions of people and anti-people would find truly amazing.
anti-people.
I have no idea.
Like bricks.
Yeah, tables, chairs,
Anything there's no person. Tell you what, this shelf would find this amazing.
Yeah, it just says apparently billions of people and anti-people
And anti-people.
would find truly amazing. The machine, like the thieves before it, was dimensionally transcendental and a TARDIS.
Ah.
The word TARDIS is a shortened version of this, time and relative dimensions in space, and they come from the planet Gallifrey, as do all Time Lords. The owner of this particular TARDIS was a Time Lord, but he had stolen this one, or
What?
borrowed it, as he would have said. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work as well as it should. There were two major problems with it. One. And there's a list.
Yeah, that's not a long list, though.
No, it's a list of two, but that's still a list, and with
Okay.
numbers. There were two major problems with it. One, the chameleon circuit, which allowed it to blend in with its surroundings, had ceased to work. So it always looked like a police box. And for some reason, you've got police box in capital letters. Like it's an acronym.
Well, it was in Bunny Ears before. Now
Yeah,
it's
now it was. Two, the steering was very erratic, and the TARDIS usually ended up a few million miles and years away from its destination, which generally landed the owner in great trouble! Exclamation mark.
I think saying that it usually ended up a few million miles and light years away is quite specific, isn't it?
Yeah, usually.
'Cause it doesn't usually do that at all.
Sometimes.
It offshoots by 100 years or something more often.
Yeah, a million years is a lot.
Yeah.
Like if you want to go to London now,
Yeah.
a million years ago, there's no one here.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Okay. The owner did not reveal much of his past and could not pronounce his name.
What?
So he went by the name of the Doctor.
Couldn't pronounce his name.
That's what it says. The owner
Fair
could
enough.
not pronounce his own name. So he went by the name of the Doctor. So all that stuff in the new Doctor Who
Yeah.
about his name being like no one can say it and it's
Yeah.
really a big deal and the question and the silence will fall and all that stuff. No. Actually, the reason Matt Smith doesn't say his name when the Time Lords say Doctor Who,
Yeah.
Doctor Who, is because he can't fucking say it.
That's it. He's embarrassed, isn't he? You never learned.
What's your name, Doctor?
I don't want to talk about it. It's private.
Yeah, well, there's a little secret that Stephen Moffat's been refusing to reveal that Howard has just revealed.
Many of the things that, like, you'd start to click into place now. It's like when people ask Doctor Who what 2 + 2 is, and he goes like, I can't tell you. It's not because he's being mysterious at all. He's just an idiot.
The Doctor was a short fellow.
Sarah Jane, he said.
He was dressed in checkered trousers,
Sarah Jane, look at my checkered trousers, he said.
a white shirt, a waistcoat, and a black jacket. A thick mop of black unkempt hair rested on his head, and he
And it was curly and he wore a scarf and a hat.
and he piping a tune on his little flute.
And he piping a tune.
Yeah, and hopping around the console. And he was called Tom Baker Doctor.
He had some jelly babies and a robot dog.
Yeah. A young lady with short black hair stood watching him with a mild look of amusement on her face. She was Zoe.
Yeah.
Good description. Rather than say Zoe was watching him, it's like a young lady was watching him. She was Zoe. A few seconds later, a Scots lad entered the room, dressed in his kilt, white shirt, shoes and socks, from which...
He had clothes on, basically.
Yeah, he had hair.
A naked person came in.
He had hair and a nose and ears.
God, well, in science fiction, you've got to mention these things because you never know whether someone's got a candle of ever in their left hand or not, do you?
Yeah, no, apparently he hasn't got his knob out.
The interesting thing about this selection of TARDIS crew in the history of Doctor Who is they've all got exactly the same hairdo. They're kind of like the Beatles, but like without the rubbish one.
Well, Paul McCartney. Yeah, although Jamie is Paul McCartney, isn't he? If you're going to compare him to one of the Beatles, it's definitely Paul McCartney.
Yeah, because he's Scottish.
Yes. Okay.
I'm fucking Paul McCartney.
The TARDIS broke up, Paul McCartney. All right, so dressed in his kilt, white shirt, shoes and socks, from which protruded his beloved Dirk.
Good.
Dirk Benedict. Dirk Benedict sticking out of his socks.
Yeah.
Okay. He was holding... he was...
Oh, God, what?
He was holding his head. He was, as I said, he was holding in the same sentence. A few seconds later, a Scots lad entered the room dressed in his kilt, white shirt, shoes and socks, from which protruded his beloved Dirk. He was holding his head. And he spoke in a strong Scottish accent to the Doctor. A strong Scottish accent.
So does that mean his head come off and he just got it?
Well, I guess so. He's holding his head in his hands. Oh, Doctor, my head fell off, he said. How do we do? You're gonna have to help me. Remember, you taught me how to do Doctor Who voices.
This is like impersonation masterclass with me, Howard.
Okay, what else you got for me?
Okay, I'm going to teach you how.
Because I am quite rubbish at impressions.
Okay, well, let's start off with something easy.
Yeah, that'd
The
be
10 Doctors.
Okay.
Okay, so first Doctor, Richard Herndon.
The sad geeky pride on your face for that joke.
Okay, and he says, the type of thing he says is, no, he didn't, he means a great glitter pie.
No, he didn't. He made a liquor glitter pie.
Very good, yeah. Patrick Troughton.
Jamie, Zoe, Jamie, Zoe.
That's actually better than mine, yeah, definitely. Now, Tom Baker, Doctor Who. Sarah Jane.
Sarah Jane. I can't do that actor voice that you do.
Sarah Jane.
Sarah Jane.
Just invent an accent that doesn't exist. Sarah Jane.
Sarah Jane.
Yeah. That's getting there, yeah.
Sarah Jane.
Romana.
Romana.
Nah.
Nah.
Romana.
Nah.
Yeah.
You taught me how to do these impressions, but now I'm going to need a refresher course. So, Jamie.
Jamie is, Doctor, the TARDIS broke up.
Doctor. Doctor.
Yeah.
The TARDIS broke up.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
that constant feeling of surprise. Yeah.
Och. He says och first. That's his first word. It's och.
Oh, sometimes he does surprise and disgruntled. If he's saying och, it's like, oh, Doctor, this is worse than the TARDIS.
Oh, can you nae shut that racket up, Doctor?
Yes. Nailed it.
I'm trying to get a bit of sleep in before you land us in some more trouble.
So they know what exactly happens in Doctor. They understand the concept of the Doctor Who programme.
Apparently, yeah.
It's like, whenever we land, we're going to get in trouble, so
Yeah.
I'm going to go and have some sleep now.
Yeah, going to make the most of it. I'll forget I heard that, remarked the second Doctor.
Remarked Patrick
Yeah,
Troughton,
remarked
Doctor Who.
Patrick Troughton, Doctor Who, as he drew his flute from his lips and stood, slightly worn out. Aye, smiled the Scot, who was named Jamie. That's much better. And Jamie was truly relieved that the Doctor had stopped his piping. Well, I thought you were very good, Doctor. Bravo! Thank you, Zoe. Some people just don't appreciate fine art. And on the subject, there is a fine art show on in Blackpool in 1991.
What?
Which is where we are going. So we shall pop in there. Go to the tower. Go to the pleasure beach. Play on the slot machines. And then stroll along the front. Eating candy floss and rock.
Little Howard dreamed of being a writer, and so he sat and wrote every night. But everything he wrote was fucking shite, yeah. Wubba-dubba-doo, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world. He's a stupid, suck-ass, rubbish writer.
Jamie! Zoe!
That's a good Patrick.
Yes, Sarah Jane. Ooh. Craggy knob!
You missed Paul McGann.
Ooh. That's wrong, isn't it? That's Peter Davison.
That's it.
My thumbs have gone weird.
Christopher Lester Planet is just in yours.
And go on.
Amazing.
Yeah, and
Ooh. I've got a bit of a TARDIS.
the laziest impressionist I've ever seen. It's just every time you can't do someone or think of what they sound like, you just do a Frank Spencer impression and pretend that's okay.
Betty Song, what are you doing here? Oh, Frank who? Frank who? You've made the TARDIS trip over again. I didn't mean to, River Who. I mean,
Well, that's probably her name. They got married,
I didn't
right?
mean to. Betty Song.
who?
Betty Song. Amy Song and Rory Song. What are you doing? No, that's not right. Amy who? No, wait a second. Amy Spencer. And Rory Spencer. What are you doing?
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Worst Writer in the World. It was good. It was good, wasn't it? You liked it. You enjoyed it, but it wasn't enough.
Oh, yeah, I
Right?
want more.
It was like, yeah, you enjoyed that, but you wanted more content.
You are Oliver Twist. There you are in the workhouse. You've just had a small amount of gruel, and you're like, I love that, but I want some more gruel. So you go up to Mr. Bumble and you say, could I have some more, Mr. Bumble? And he's like,
And he says, yeah, you can, but only if you sign up for $2 a month at patreon.com/manbycow. And if you do that, just $2, you will get more stuff than you can even imagine, like a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
And if that's not enough for you, you can upgrade to a slightly higher price and have even more.
Wow.
And it will explode your brain, Oliver Twist. So give us your $2, Oliver. Come on, orphan.
yeah, but don't try and eat it, though.
No, do what you want. You're the customer. If you want to eat our podcasts and videos, you can do that. And if you pay us enough, we will send you cake.
Yeah?
Or gruel, if that's what you want. If you're really set on the idea of gruel, we will send you more than one bowl of gruel.
I don't think we should be promising to send people gruel.
I did say if you pay us enough without saying how much that is.
Right.
All
The new
So
gruel
if someone
tier.
really wants this, then
Yeah.
we'll negotiate. It's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, if you want a load of entertaining stuff by us that you haven't already heard because it's exclusive to the Secret Gang, then join us on Patreon. We'll be very happy to see you there. Do you remember when we used to say that at the end of podcasts? Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye-bye, Milk.
Goodbye, Milk.
He's a stupid, suck-ass, rubbish writer. Yeah.